Alright. Hey YouTube! Today I am going to be doing a little bit different video. It's going to be a yap session. We are going to be talking about the Arbitrator today. And as you've seen by the title of the video, we're talking about how this class is a wake-up call to Fat Shark. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is what do I mean whenever I say that the Arbitrator is a wake-up call? I mean that it's a wake-up call to Fat Shark, and that they need to buff all the other classes so that they can compete with this one. The RBDs is a very good class. It's so good that it makes the other humanoid classes feel bad to play. And that is not good, because new players that are coming into the game are going to gravitate to the Arbitrator over the other classes. Arbitrators are extremely good at crowd control, and they stun everything. That is very, very good for new and experienced players. That's really good. That is very, very good. They also have great toughness replenishment. Way more than the veteran and the psyker. Way more than those two. And therefore, this class feels better to play than them. And another thing is that the skill tree for the RBDs, it doesn't have a lot of dead nodes in it, and it's very interlinked. Excuse me, sorry about that. The class itself has so many good nodes in it that it feels so much better than the other classes, because this class was cultivated so well. They did such a good job making this build, or this build. They did such a good job making this class. This class is just so far beyond the other two, at least. The Zealot is pretty good still, but I'm mainly talking about these the Veteran and the Psyker whenever I'm talking about the wake-up call. All right. And so because of how many dead nodes that there are, which there are not a lot of dead nodes in this tree, makes it very easy for new players to make an actually decent build and not just fuck themselves. And that is important because a lot of new players, they don't know how to make builds. And so they're going to make a build that makes them feel worse. You know, they might not build for optimal toughness replenishment from their class. All that kind of stuff. And that will make a class feel weak. And that's part of the reason why the Arbitrator is so popular, is because it has a lot of fail-safes in it. You can have protection from fucking up as far as in-game with a skill down here. It's called True Grit. That helps you from messing up. It can also like literally save you. You can get crushered 2 times before dying. 2 times. That is crazy. They can downward you twice and you won't die, as long as you don't get hit by anything else. So that is one way of in-game not being able to mess up. And then another thing that you have at your disposal is it's super easy to make a very good build. It's hard to not. And that's good for new players, because they don't need to worry about that as much. Alright. Now I'm going to talk about the other classes. Specifically the Veteran and the Psyker. These two feel the worst to me out of all the classes. However, the Zealot also needs to be looked at as well, and I will not be talking about the Ogryn because it is good and better than the Arbitrator. So, for starters, I will get the Zealot out of the way first. From things I've heard and my own experiences, there is really only one way to play the Zealot, with a slight difference between the two builds that I see most people play. And these are the Chorus build and the Charge build. Their skill trees look almost identical to each other if you make an optimal build. There are also a lot of dead nodes in the Zealot's tree, and that's why the trees look almost identical to each other. It's because there's so many dead nodes that everybody just takes the best ones, so there's only one build. Basically, what I want Fat Shark to do with Zealot is fix the dead node problem and make the skill tree more interconnected for better build crafting. Now I'm going to touch up on the Veteran. This is my main, was my main before the Arbitrator came out. Now I'm playing the Arbitrator. I've been playing the Veteran since the very start of the game, and I've had a lot of things on my mind about this class that I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is the gargantuan gap between the ability Voice of Command and his other two abilities. Voice of Command is so powerful, there is literally no reason to use anything other than it. It's just that much better. And what I think they need to do is they just need to buff the two other abilities. The two other abilities need to be at least able to compete with it. Every ability should have its own reason why you would want to use it. And those reasons need to be on par with each other in some way, or certain abilities will fall behind on pick rate. And right now, that's what's happening. The Voice of Command is the best ability by far on the Veteran, and that sucks for build crafting. Alright. The next thing I want to talk about is the amount of dead nodes that this class has. There are so many of them, it's crazy. You can go down his skill tree as a brand new player who doesn't know a thing about the meta and doesn't know a thing about viable nodes and pick up every single node being bad in some way. Nodes that like don't really combine well with each other or fit to the playstyle that you're going with. That's bad. It takes the fun out of the class for a new player. And it also takes away from build crafting, like I said, because you have to pick viable stuff as you get further into the game. And when there's not enough viable stuff, there becomes only one build. Voice of Command, different variations. And lastly, I just want the class and its skill tree to be as interlinked as the Arbitrator is. Like, this class's skill tree is a super good representation of this class was done really well. As far as just interlinked, I can pick every grenade that I want. I obviously can't pick the dog things right now. Well, actually I can. This is not... Oh, nope. This is a dogless build. So, I can't pick this grenade right here, the remote detonation, because that's dog specific. But because I picked this middle node here, I can pick these two grenades without any point cost. And that's how the Veteran should be. Yeah, I shouldn't have to spend 8 different points to get to the crack grenade if I want to run crack grenades. Alright, that's everything that I really want to talk about as far as the Veteran. Now I want to talk about the last class, and the Psyker. The Psyker is very good in the hands of the top 1% of players who never get hit, never get downed. But for all the other players, pretty much, this class it feels bad. And it's super hard to play. And a lot of the times they just end up going down and become a detriment to the team. And that doesn't feel good for anyone. Nobody wants to be the weakest link on a team. No one. It's weak compared to the veteran as far as survivability. I know that the Psyker has the Inferno Staff and Bubble Shield, and those are very, very good things, and it's a very powerful build, but not all Psykers want to play that way. And that leads into my build crafting. When there's only one build, the class feels stale and it doesn't feel as good as the other ones. And the only viable build for Psyker is the Bubble Shield Flame Staff, because it's very good, don't get me wrong, but it's the only viable build. Um, the Psyker's skill tree is very interlinked at times. I think it should be interlinked even more, though, and I think the dead nodes need to be worked on in the Psyker's tree as well. I don't have much experience with the Psyker, but I have enough to know that there are some nodes on the tree that are just not good, not good at all, and you're just wasting points if you pick them. Basically, all I want from the Psyker is there to be new, more viable builds for newer players so that they can have fun with the class. That's what I want. I want us to be able to have fun, because when there's no fun, nobody wants to play this game. And the Arbitrator is a lot of fun, and that right there is the wake-up call. So, in conclusion, the other human classes need a rework / buff, and they need to interlink the nodes on the tree better, and they need to get rid of majority of the dead nodes. And that's what I mean whenever I say we need a rework for at least the veteran and the Psyker. And skill tree rotation around for the Zealot. And for you Zealot mains out there, if you watch this video, comment down below. Tell me if you think that I am completely wrong about the Zealot and that it's completely fine and it doesn't need to be changed. But I think it needs to be changed in some meaningful way, because the Ogren and the Arbitrator are leaving the rest of the classes in the dust as far as how many people are playing them, how many people are finding them viable in Havoc, and literally everything else. Like, the fucking win rate for Arbitrator is crazy. I bet it's way higher than anything else. But yeah, that's the video. This is a bit longer than usual, but we're here to have conversations. So feel free to share your opinion down below. Tell me that I am a stinking loser and that my opinion is trash. I don't know. If you want to just light me up in the chat because you think I'm wrong about something, feel free. Have a conversation about it. I will read every single comment. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.